Salut, c'est moi tout le monde. Moi c'est Avi, je suis votre prof de français virtuel. I'm Avi, I'll be your virtual French instructor today. And our lesson is going to be on chapter 0. I would say the first chapter, but we call it chapter 0 in our OER textbook. That's called Français Interactif. And we'll talk more about that. And I'm looking forward to learning about you all when you complete these lessons. Okay, so let's begin. Niveau débutant means beginning level. So this is the first class, the first video for any University French 1 class. All right, here we go. To complete everything that we'll talk about today, you're going to need access to Canvas, of course. And your school will need to have installed the LTI that's called GoReact. Many of you will probably have used this before. In the CSU system, we all have GoReact, for example. And of course, you'll need a microphone to answer the questions in GoReact. Okay, il faut un micro pour répondre aux questions. And optionally a camera if you want to record video. Introductions. Français Interactif. This is our OER textbook, open educational resource. It's free to use. So, of course, we recommend it for anyone that we talk to, and we're going to use it here in this course. Provide a link down below there because Français Interactif is published by University of Texas at Austin, the Department of French and Italian. And you can go right over there and download the PDF, or you can download a PDF of each chapter. You can listen to the audio, all that stuff. It's all available there. Okay, tableau de bord. This is what we'll be working on today. Just 3 short sections because this is chapter 0. Présentation, se présenter. Okay. Les introductions. Okay, partie 1. Se présenter. Introducing oneself right here. We're going to be introducing ourselves. Later on, we'll be introducing other people. Okay. Partie 2, les matières. People's majors, such as le commerce, business, l'histoire, history, and les maths, ou les mathématiques. Bet you can guess what that is in English. Okay. Et enfin, pour faire les animaux, animals, au pluriel, this is a plural noun in French. So the singular would be animal, but animaux is the plural. Talk about that in a future lesson. Okay. Comme par exemple le tatou, le cafard, l'écureuil. These are all different animals. And animals that we have in the States, for instance, and lots of other places. Okay, tout d'abord, for starters, se présenter. On commencera avec les introductions. Les introductions. Okay. Here is how we have a brief conversation introducing ourselves in French. You're going to find out how easy this is. The only thing that we have to look forward to mastering is the French R sound. It's the French R that sounds very different from, for example, the English R. I speak American English. My natural R doesn't sound a thing like the French sound that's represented by the letter R, which sounds more like R. Okay. Much more about that later when we talk about the alphabet. Je me présente. Je me présente. Let me introduce myself. This is a formal way of doing it. I think probably any French textbook would include this sentence. Je me présente. Comme ça. Right? Let me introduce myself. Hello. Je m'appelle. Je m'appelle. My name is. So literally, I call myself. It's very similar to other languages like Spanish, Italian, etc. Je m'appelle. My name is. And we want to think about the pronunciation of the sound represented by 2 L's here. It's L. It's not ol like we use in California for many of our L's. We say, oh, that's cool, like that. Instead, it's L, right? Je m'appelle, comme ça. Okay. Je suis de. Je suis de. De is a preposition that means from. So if you say je suis de, you're telling someone that you are from somewhere. Behind me, you can see beautiful Lake Tahoe. I would love to be able to say, je suis du lac Tahoe. I am from Tahoe. Okay, now about introducing other people. These pronouns in French, il and elle, we remember that l sound. It's not ol, like I would use normally, but il. Il, elle, s'appelle. So many opportunities to practice that sound in one little sentence. Il s'appelle, his name is. Elle s'appelle, her name is. Comme ça. Okay, so if I want to introduce my friend Jane, right? Elle s'appelle Jane. Her name is Jane. Oh, really? Where is Jane from? Elle est de Londres. She is from London. Elle est d'Angleterre. She is from England. Using these pronouns, these third-person singular pronouns, we can introduce others. All right. Okay, now let's have a classic undergraduate conversation. All right. What's your major? What's your major? Even if someone doesn't ask you what your major is, you can tell them, you can offer this information, right? So if we began with je m'appelle Avi, my name is Avi. Je suis de Lac Tahoe, I am from Lake Tahoe. Then I can continue by telling you what I'm studying. By saying this, je suis étudiant en, for example, français, maths, etc. I am a student, a male student, in French, math, etc. Okay, notez bien, s'il vous plaît, please. Pay careful attention to this. In French, we have an S at the end of mat. We don't have an S in American English, although we do in UK English and other Englishes of the world, because math is short for mathematics. But we don't see it that way here. And it's fine that other speakers of other languages and other varieties of English do. But we want to note that in case we take a test that includes this word. Okay. Also, you probably noticed that français is not capitalized, whereas in English it is. English and French are very different languages. English is Germanic. It has a lot of French words in it, but structurally it's a Germanic language. And French is not. It's a Gallo-Romance language. So, point being, in many Germanic languages, you capitalize many more things than you do in Romance languages. Okay, we'll come back to that later on. Okay, for a female student, she would say, je suis étudiante en français, maths, etc. Okay, what's the difference here? Je suis étudiante and je suis étudiant. And we don't hear that T. The T is representing a sound that we hear sometimes and other times don't. Usually we can tell because there will be the letter E. Okay, similarly, if we're introducing someone who's a third person singular, like il or elle, right? Remembering that French L sound, that's not ol. Il est étudiant en français, maths, etc. Okay, we notice that we have the sound en here. It's not on, it's not ont, right? But en. It's a nasal sound. Mouth is open, but some of the sound is escaping through the nose. Il est étudiant en maths. Il est étudiant en sciences politiques, etc. Compare with elle est étudiante en mathématiques. Elle est étudiante en chimie, etc. Okay, so we have étudiante, étudiant, étudiante, étudiant. Okay, je suis étudiant. Elle est étudiante, comme ça. So let's review. Les introductions. Je me présente. Je m'appelle Avi. Okay, if I'm introducing myself. Mon ami, my friend over here, mon ami, elle s'appelle Jacinta, je sais pas. Elle s'appelle Jane, etc. Elle est de, right? She is from. Elle est de la Nouvelle-Zélande. She is from New Zealand, just for example. Moi, je suis de Lactao. Je suis du Lactao. Forgot to say where I was from. Je suis étudiant en français. Jane, elle est étudiante en sciences politiques. She is studying political science. Comme ça. Okay. Étudiant, étudiante. Okay. There'll be an activity associated with this on our Canvas site. Bon, nous continuons avec les matières. Let's learn about some of the majors that there are and how to talk about them in French. Les matières. Okay, partie 1. Les commerces. This is business. Here you see some folks meeting each other, maybe doing some business. Le commerce, business. La comptabilité, accounting. A person who does accounting is called a comptable. So, la comptabilité is the study of accounting. Okay, les langues. We notice that we have le, which is a masculine determiner. We have la, which is a feminine determiner, as far as grammatical gender goes. But then we have les, au pluriel, right, in the plural. It's a plural determiner for both feminine and masculine. We don't know which. When we're learning a new word, we don't know what the grammatical gender of the word is. So they have told us, féminin. Les langues, pardon, les langues. Right, nom féminin, it's a feminine noun. Languages, les langues. Okay, l'anglais, individual languages also have grammatical gender. L'anglais, c'est masculin, right? It's a masculine noun. English, le français, French, l'espagnol, masculin, Spanish. Okay, the study of literature, la littérature, is of course feminine, like la comptabilité. Comme ça, même chose. Okay, nous continuons. We're continuing here. L'histoire is a feminine noun, meaning history. Je suis étudiant en histoire. If we said that, we would drop the le and just say, je suis étudiante en histoire. Je suis étudiant en histoire for a male student. La géographie, almost no translation needed. Right? Let's noter bien, s'il vous plaît, le genre. Please take notice of the grammatical gender of this word. C'est la géographie. Lots of French words that end in I, E are of feminine grammatical gender. Okay, les sciences politiques. Science is a feminine noun. Political science. Politique here is just acting as an adjective. So what kind of science do you study? Political science. Aha. Elle est étudiante en sciences politiques. Okay. And as we alluded to earlier, les mathématiques is how we say mathematics in French. And les maths, right? It's not les maths, but les maths. Les maths is the short form for math. The string of T and H in French usually sounds like T. Okay, les sciences, as I mentioned, it's a feminine noun, sciences. Let's talk about these different sciences here. La biologie, words that end in IE, often feminine gender, maybe 100% of the time. La chimie, chemistry. Et enfin, l'informatique, computer science. Why do nouns in French have grammatical gender? It's a very long story, the details of which don't really matter, and they don't have anything to do with natural gender, with a person who is feminine, a person who is masculine, nothing like that. It's just grammar. Et enfin, vous avez la musique. Music. Je suis étudiant en musique. And when we say what our major is, or what our friend's major is, we drop the le la le. La philosophie. Okay. PH, the PH in French sounds like, just like in English. This last one might be unexpected, the pronunciation. This is la psychologie. Okay, we need to hear the P, the S, and the I at the beginning of this word. La psychologie. Psychology. In English, English speakers sort of simplified this to sort of ignore the P. We don't really know what to do with words that start with P, like Pfizer and things like that. So we kind of pronounce it psychology, don't we, in English? Okay, so from the top, let's review. Je me présente. Je m'appelle Avi. Je suis de l'Actao. Je suis étudiant en français. Je me spécialise en, my major is, je me spécialise en la langue française, comme ça. Okay, por fin, les animaux. Les animaux. Let's learn the names of a few animals as they are said in French. Each animal has a grammatical gender as well, and we'll talk about that. That is separate from their natural gender. We know we have female and male animals, of course, but there are also feminine and masculine nouns that refer to these animals. Un cafard, everybody's favorite, right? Un cafard, a cockroach. So cockroach is of masculine grammatical gender. Un chat, un chat. Right? This is a cat. Cat is of masculine grammatical gender, unless it's a female cat, in which case we say une chatte. Okay, so notez bien la différence de la prononciation entre chat, we don't hear the t at all, and chat, we do hear the t, right? The spelling gives it away. T, right? T-E at the end lets us know we need to pronounce t. Une minette, right? Kitty, it's kind of the nickname. We know that one. Un chat, une chatte, une minette. Kitty cat. Okay, this one I have found is difficult sometimes for English speakers. Un écureuil. Un écureuil. Believe it or not, this is the word from which English speakers derived the word squirrel. Many words in French that start with e, accent aigu, comme ça, got imported into English, and an S was placed there instead. I don't know why. An écureuil, a squirrel, écureuil. Try saying that several times in a row. Okay. Most people who come to my French courses already know this word, un escargot, a snail. French is spoken in 35 countries in the world as an official language. Only one of them is France. Most of the French speaking in the world is happening outside of France. But as far as French people living in France go, escargot is considered a delicacy by a lot of folks. And don't knock it before you try it. Une fourmi, an ant, une fourmi. Okay, so this is the grammatical gender of the noun for ant, and we don't really get to a finer level of discrimination than that. I think all drones like these two ants here are males, right? But it doesn't matter, because the noun itself has a grammatical gender that is feminine. Not female, but feminine, right? Une fourmi, an ant. Et enfin, vous avez un tatou, an armadillo. An armadillo. Okay, un tatou, an armadillo. So the word for tattoo in French is not tatou. It's a tatouage, un tatouage. Okay, just to disambiguate between those two things. Un tatou is an armadillo. As we work through this French course, we're going to see a lot of armadillos because the University of Texas at Austin has provided us with a lot of those in our reading. Okay, c'est parti. We have finished. Please visit my YouTube channel for more language learning videos. I have a whole bunch of French language videos. All the images here I have credited to the individual authors. Be sure to do your homework if you have some, and come back next time for another lesson on French with Avi.